Damn it, Bunko, I will leave your ass here.
Nobody is leaving anybody.
We're gonna steamroll the army and then they'll be back. This is our only chance to get out.
Not going into the subway. You've heard the stories.
We will starve here. The subway is our only chance. We take it to Inwood, get to the evac center, and get the fuck out of New York. Or we die here.
I don't like him, but he's right.
Released in April 2019, this game came out with 12 missions, and in all honesty, that was enough to keep me coming back to the point where I started to think I had Stockholm Syndrome. What I want to discuss in this video is why this game is a true zombies game and why it's so underrated. For now, I'm going to cover the first two campaigns based in New York and Jerusalem. I'll be covering the game's mechanics, atmosphere, scaling, mission design, and nitpicking at minuscule details no one cares about but me. So, let's get into the New York story. The first campaign differs from every other campaign with its story. As we will get to, the other stories have something bigger going on, a major objective, people to save, or means to an end. The New York story is the only story about surviving, plain and simple. Obviously the other campaigns are about surviving, but more on the long term. New York story is about surviving in the moment. It's a humbling start relative to the game's other plots, and it allows this development of the world and the atmosphere. Character design plays a major role in the episodes as they play out, with the characters in the New York story being ordinary, at least for the most part. This is in stark contrast to the characters in Jerusalem's campaign, Moscow's campaign, and even Tokyo's campaign.
There's never a moment when you forget. It's there when you fall asleep and when you wake up. You keep going over the things you should have done. I should have stayed home that day. I should have held on. The agony is always there. But I've learned to live with it.
Don't play in the dirt, Ethan. Stop fighting, Ethan. Be polite, Ethan. We can suppress the animal instincts all we want, bury them under layers of polish. But they exist for a reason. When we lived in a genteel fairy tale world, somebody did the dirty work out of sight. But when the fairy tale turned nightmare,
it doesn't take a super big brain genius to be able to tell that these are two completely different characters. I personally feel a game like this has no right having such well thought out characters and doesn't feel like it needs that much of a plot, but it has, and it does the game a lot of favours. But nevertheless, that's not why you are here, why I'm here, or why this game exists. If you've watched the intro, which took me a lot of time, so you better have, then we both know that it is this game's absolutely magnificent and super awesome Hordes. I'm sorry to disappoint, but as much as I want to cover that right now, we need to cover the progression through the story. So what's going on in the background of this video right now actually makes some sense. Going back to the idea of survival, our characters have escaped from the rooftop of a shopping centre. I refuse to say mall. Then, daringly made a run for the subway system where a lunatic called Stevie is willing to allow them onto his train for the price of some supplies in said subway station. All in all, this is a solid starting mission. It's shorter than many of the others in the game and allows the players to get a chance to get their bearings.
I did what you said.
All aboard who's coming aboard! You're here!
Oh, we're making too much noise. They're gonna come. We gotta go now.
Do you want to drive? Shut up!
Oh, I'm not gonna die in here.
Jaws that bite and claws that catch! Who will hear the gem on my son?
Crazy son of a bitch.
Crazy son of a bitch with a train! Boop, boop.
This can't be good.
I don't trust this psycho.
Roy! Roy, open up! Open the door, you twat! Roy!
What's going on?
Well, it appears my associate on the other side of this door is either passed out drunk or deceased.
We'll check it out.
Stay on the radio. No noise.
Another gate.
On to the second mission now, and just for anyone who was wondering, Roy, the guy on the other side of the door, has died. But no one cares, so let's move on. So now we are tasked with getting the big door thing open so that the train can get through. This leads us to the next point I adore about this game, which is level design. Because of my superb timing and amazing editing skills, about now on screen a clip of us going around pulling some levers should be keeping at least a little bit of your attention. Now, to be honest, Going around flicking levers isn't all that fun, but WWZ refuses to have an area follow a normal game trope without something different. Now, this isn't something to be given credit for in game design by itself, but the amount of different mechanics and how they are implemented into each level makes them feel unique and replayable in a way that I don't see in many games these days. Looking at an area further ahead in the mission, we are presented with a room full of poisonous gas. We are tasked with activating panels to open up more of the room, allowing more space to manage the infected. Each floor you drop down to requires a new task or requirement. After you reach the first panel, the next requires a key card that is found on a dead body near the panel. The last floor once again requires a key, but this is in the poison gas on the floor below, making players risk their health for mission progression. Now the fans are on, we can make our escape and continue with the mission. As we leave, we get easily one of the coolest parts of the campaign as we climb up scaffolding as the infected relentlessly rain down on us.
You get
Level design is done well throughout the game, and while it's nothing game changing, it's solid and makes the game a lot more enjoyable. We will cover more impressive level design throughout the game as we cover it, but for now we will break down hordes and the format for how missions are structured. Before anything else, these hordes of infected made this game. I personally don't know any other game that has this many zombies, with the release of Aftermath as well, the game's weird DLC expansion game revamp thing. We got even more infected, even more chaos, and even more carnage. And I paid 16 quid just to tell you about it and potentially get a third episode out of this thing, whatever it is. Now don't worry, as I talk about this next bit, there will be some hordes in the background, but something this game has done well, to further credit it, is mission format. It's basic, but compared to other games in this series and in this genre, it's really not that bad. Missions usually can be broken down into fight through an intro area, defend against a horde, do some altered fetch, escort or timed quest, I suppose, then a defense section again, with exceptions across the game and its environment that keep the game fresh throughout its entire playthrough. And we can progress closer to an evac site.
Hallelujah! Oh, the day of miracles has come! Well, thanks for the assistance, my darlings. I'll see you later.
You can't leave us here!
Son of a bitch!
Take him out!
Whoa, Jesus! Honestly, you Yanks have no sense of humour. Now hurry up and get on a bloody train. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle or they will be torn off and eaten. We've arrived at the 9th circle of hell. Please gather your belongings.
Thanks for the ride, Stevie.
Do we hug, kiss, or should I just quietly watch you approach your imminent death?
Silence suits you best. Have fun with your trains, nutcase.
Now we come to the end of the first campaign. How exciting it's been! The game once again really pushes that mantra of despair and survival on us, with the last mission as the survivors make their way through another great level, giving us a great fight towards the very end of this story. Something I particularly appreciate is the world building. We have from start to end left behind military equipment, planes doing bombing runs that stretch across entire city blocks, and smaller details in the environment like dead bodies to show how desperate not just our characters are, but how desperate everyone is. It's a strong encapsulating theme only built upon more throughout the game's campaigns.
Street's abandoned. It's not good. Gone. All gone. We're too late.
We have finally reached the evac site, and to the horror of our characters, everyone is dead and the site is completely abandoned. looking for any other way of a desperate escape, with a horde only minutes away. Our survivors arm up and prepare to defend what could be their last battle. Without all the drama, this is, as I've said, a great finishing battle, but to be honest it does not compete with what we have in stock much later down the line. And to provide a little bit of spoilers, I'm on about the Moscow campaign, but I'll say nothing about that for at least another 2 videos.
Did everybody get some?
So close to the end, and I'm not too sure what to say. I've really enjoyed making this, and I hope you've really enjoyed watching it, but as my guns in this clip ran out of ammo, right as another wave came in, I realised we had literally finished the objective and made a sort of cool escape literally using the last of my ammo. I really do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll leave you this final cutscene as the story comes to an end. And right before I forget to add it, thank you very much for watching, hope you've enjoyed, and enjoy this final cutscene.
Hold on! It's just pissing them off.
Like kicking an anthill.
North to Lake Champlain. Yeah, we should be safe there.
Ain't gonna be nothing left here.